What up, guys? I'm back in the garage. It is time to continue on the Tacoma ROCKCRAWLER build. And first I wanted to say thanks for all the great feedback I've got on episode 1 of this vlog. You guys are enjoying it, I guess, and I really appreciate you watching, but definitely buckle up because it's going to get a lot crazier. There's a lot more to come. Subscribe if you haven't already because it's going to be a pretty wild ride. But let's recap. So first episode, I cut all of the pieces, or most of the pieces for the cage. I definitely still have some crossbars that I still need to cut out. But I'm gonna worry about that later. Not a big deal for right now. But it's time to start fitting this thing up. I'm going to start with arguably the most important piece, which is the hoop, the main hoop, which is going to go up, follow the cab, go across, and back down on the other side. It's gonna be nice and symmetric, ideally, and that's gonna be my roll bar. So if you remember last time, I cut it in 2 pieces such that I could change the width of it. And my original plan was to have it protrude from the body a significant amount just to protect what sheet metal I have left that's straight. But my buddy said, that's dumb, you're gonna get hung up on trees. And he's right, didn't even think about that. East Coast wheeling, lots of trees, so better to keep it tight to the body line. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have it protrude out just a little bit, but not much. And so it's gonna follow the body line and it's gonna come right about here. And I'm going to tie it into the sliders by using a piece of this on each side, which is 2" by 1/4 wall square tube. Really strong, heavy stuff. I'm gonna make some crossbars, weld them here, and bring the hoop tube down, weld it on top, and I think we will be good to go. And I can start the rest of the cage from there. That is the first part of the cage skeleton. I need to make it look really good. It needs to be nice and symmetric, and I think I can do it, but we'll see. But it's time to dive in, guys. I'm excited to get started, fitting this thing up and making this cage. It's gonna be awesome. Check it out, guys. The main hoop is on there. Well, it's not final welded on there. I just have it tacked on here. But the crossbar is final welded, and the 2 pieces of the main hoop are final welded together. I've got plug welds, I've got welds along the seams, and it is sleeved internally, so I have no doubt in my mind that that's a very strong joint, and I will not be afraid to rely on it when I inevitably flop this thing in the future. But this hoop has definitely taken me a lot longer than I expected. I had it off and on the truck maybe 3 times to make sure everything looked good. It was symmetric, it met the body lines, but I really couldn't be much happier with how it turned out, especially for my first try at one of these things. I mean, it just hugs the body really nicely, protrudes out, just slightly offering a little bit of protection, but keeping the truck narrow. And it's parallel to the body, looks really good. I don't know, I'm really happy with how it turned out. But it has taken me a little bit. It's tougher than I expected. But that's fine. Learning experience. I did change the crossbar design just slightly from the CAD model. If you remember, I just had a straight crossbar in the CAD model. I actually needed it to be a little higher so that I could put the bed sides back on it. So I put these nice 35-degree bends in this piece, and I think it looks great. I actually like this design better than what I had. But, you know, it's a little bit of a change. I imagine I'll be changing the whole thing as I go along. That's just part of the process. But I'm taking a little break from cage work, guys. I will definitely do more in this video, but first we have something to do. Now, if you remember, I said last video that I was changing the front end of this thing, and boy, am I changing the front end of this thing. I have made a purchase that I believe will be probably the most high performance upgrade that I could ever put on this truck. I'm really psyched to go pick it up. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna head over to my buddy's place, Devin's place, because he's having the Winter Bash, a wheeling event at the Jungle this next weekend. And I'm meeting someone there who has built up a really nice part for this truck. So without further ado, let's get over there. Let's pick this thing up, and I'll finally let you guys off the hook and let you know what I'm doing to the front end of this thing. It's a big deal. Let's go. So what am I doing to the front end of my Tacoma that is so nuts? Well, I'm building a rock crawler, guys, so there's really only one thing to do, and that is to solid axle swap it. You guys probably already guessed that, but I am finally biting the bullet. I'm gonna cut off the independent front suspension, which I haven't been disappointed with, by the way. It's been a great setup, but it's time to go harder, and I really think if you want to play hard on the rocks, you need a solid axle under your truck. I'm headed to the Jungle right now to meet up with a guy who's wheeling there today. He builds really high horsepower buggies and also does all sorts of re-gearing and axle sales and that kind of stuff. So I bought an axle from him. It is an 05 Plus Super Duty Dana 60, so it is pure beef. And it's got a locker in it now. He put a torque locker in it for me. It's re-geared to 488. The rear is going to be re-geared to 488 as well. And I plan on running 40s. And I don't want to run bigger than 40s, but if you want to run 40s and you want to run 40s hard, not just like, you know, tool around on 40s slow and not have to give a lot of throttle or whatever, I think you need big axles. So this thing's going to be everything I need and more. Can't wait to see it, can't wait to pick it up. We got to get it in the back of this truck. It's going to be incredibly unwieldy. I think it's very heavy. I think they're over 500 pounds, so that's not going to be all that fun, but we'll figure it out. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Let's get over there, let's check it out, let's pick it up.
Such an amateur set.
All right, loading went easy. A couple of friends and a tractor make it easy to move around a 540-pound Dana 60. However, I'm almost at the garage and it is time to unload it all on my lonesome. So hope you guys are ready to watch me hurt myself. Lego! Oh my God, that thing's heavy. All right. New plan. Winch time. Check it out, guys. The axle is inside. I used the rest of my propane to melt off the snow, so that kind of sucks. I'm gonna need to get some more, but whatever. This is a monster of an axle. Check this thing out. It is a driver's side drop Dana 60 Super Duty 05 Plus axle, the one all the Toyota guys want, all the Tacoma guys want at least. It's got brand new 488 gears in it. It's got a torque locker in it. This thing is just everything I need to make this truck an absolute monster. And it's gonna need a little cleaning up, but that's easy to do. I'm gonna wait a little bit until the weather gets a bit better and I can open this garage door, take it outside, and brush it off. But man, I am just so stoked. But we're going to leave it here for right now because I need to get back to the cage work. And I want to have something to show you guys by the end of this episode. So I have completely abandoned my CAD design. Not completely, but I've changed it substantially. I'm not winging it, but I am doing a little freeform design here. So instead of the bed bar that I said we were going to do, which was just this like slanted runner thing, I want to keep it a little lower profile. So I'm actually going to take those same bed bars, flip them 180, and have them kind of follow this profile so that they stay pretty close to the frame. I'm going to have them sit on top of the frame. I mean, they'll be suspended up, but they'll be about the same level as the center of the frame. And then I can still dovetail the bed sides, which is what I wanted to do all along. And I think that'll be pretty good. I'm still going to do my my diagonal supports to these corners, and then a couple diagonal supports in this plane across this face here. But that's the plan right now. So I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to notch this tube the way I want. I am going to fit it up on the only flat surface I have in here, which is that plywood table, unfortunately. Not ideal for welding, but we'll make do. And I'm just going to keep on rolling. So I'm going to set the camera up. Hope you guys are ready to watch me build a cage. Well, I wanted to get a little bit further before I call it for the day, but we always want the impossible, and honestly, I'm pretty stoked with where I'm at. This thing looks great. I don't know why I ever tried to CAD it up in the first place, guys. This design is way better. Looks awesome. Everything turned out nice and parallel and square. I won't say it was easy. It was definitely a fight to get everything, squared up and get this thing mounted in the first place. But I emerged victorious. I only had to ratchet strap one corner. You saw me do that right here. But once I did, this cross member is parallel to that one, parallel to that one, parallel to the top. And these two bed sides are parallel. These angles are symmetric for the uprights. I just am really happy with how it turned out. And honestly, guys, I'm pretty impressed with myself because I figured it would be a little bit wonkier than it is because I'm not building on a welding table or anything like that. But it's turning out nice. I do want to add these uprights next. So from here to the corner on each side, that's going to be a huge strength addition. It's going to look really good too. And then just filler pieces, honestly. I might decide to run the tire flat here and use the front as my kind of storage area. We'll see. If I want to get some weight over the axle back here, I'll just run it flat across the bed sides and, create a cross member to mount the tire to. Or I've got this pocket right here. So if I don't fill it with any tube, we'll see how I feel about it. If I don't fill it with any tube, I might be able to fit the tire vertically in this space. So we'll see. I got options. But that's enough for today. I have a massive mess to clean up. So I'm going to call the video here. Things to look forward to in the next video. I'm going to start and hopefully finish, but we'll at least start the new rear axle integration. So this FJ80 recentered axle has been sitting back here waiting to go onto the truck, and it's time to tackle that. I do have to do a few things to it. First of all, I need to get someone to re-gear the differential. So I'm going to send that out. I'm going to go with a welded rear diff on it, so I'm going to weld those gears next episode. And if you guys haven't realized already, there's gonna be a huge discrepancy as it sits between the front axle width and the rear axle width. This is a recentered FJ80, but they recentered it to run 2 short side shafts, and I really need it recentered to run 2 long side shafts to be comparable to the width up front. So what I'm gonna do, even though, you know, if I was gonna do this, I should have just gotten a stock FJ80 axle, but what I'm gonna do is I am going to cut each axle tube somewhere along the length of it, add some tube in there, and make it so I can run 2 long side shafts. And that will bring the wheel mounting surface width to a very comparable width to the front. Should only be about 2 inches different. And then I have to run adapters to run 8 lug wheels, so it'll actually be slightly wider than the front, but it's gonna be really, really close. So that's what I'm gonna do. That'll all be next episode, hopefully. Oh, I'm also gonna truss it across the back here. Just a nice custom truss. I have yet to design that, but that should be fun. So hope you guys are excited for that. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it, or any future episodes. There's going to be quite a few more as I continue to dig into this. I'm very happy with how it's progressing. Like the video if you enjoyed watching, because it really motivates me to keep going and keep making these things. Comment, let me know what you think about the cage. What could be improved? What would you have done differently? A little late now for me, but I'm happy with it. But I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.